It's about no risk, no gain.
Founder of Women for Financial Independence.
It's about success, sweet success.
Governor's Conference for Women.
Smart girls finish rich.
She's the president and CEO of ChappelWood Financial.
It's about consistency will always outperform occasional brilliance.
And she is the financial diva.
It's about the money, honey.
Hello and welcome to the It's All About the Money, honey. I love saying it. I can't say it enough. I'm Sarah Peterson. I'm here with Victoria Woods and Damon King of ChappelWood Financial. So great to be here with you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Great to be here.
I know I keep saying it, but I love the name of the show, and I need to know where did this come from?
Well, it's a fun story, as all of our stories are. I got offered to do a radio show. And it's a live talk radio show. And when they sent me the names, and it's iHeart. I mean, we're not talking a little bitty thinky station here. We're talking iHeart Radio. And they sent me the names of these shows, like they called it the ChappelWood Forum.
No.
And I went, do y'all know me very well? First of all, y'all are crazy for giving me a live mic with no training, no nothing, just like, okay, here's your show, go for it. But I said no, and I came up with a couple little names. I kept coming back to, it's really that's who I am. It's really all about the money, honey. Even, Sarah, when I'm guest speaking somewhere, the first thing, because it's always about the money. And they play our radio show. They have an intro that we've used for 15 years now. But people are just like, well, what does that mean, all about the money? And so while we have, let's say, 350 women in a room, 450 women, and I'll say, let's get this out of the way right now. How many of y'all believe it's all about the money? And so I go around and people are going, well, should I raise my hand? Should I not? You know what? And then, some people raise their hand. I say, okay, let me ask you this. Is anybody being paid to be here today? Little hands are raised. Is anybody contributing to a 401k in here? Bunch of hands go up. Is anybody doing an automatic draft in their savings account? And money goes up, hands go up. And I say, just let's think about this. You are either earning money, saving money, investing money, or giving money 24 hours a day if you choose to live on planet Earth. So now let's raise our hands, because how many of y'all really believe? And every hand in the room goes up. And so it breaks, up the fun so that people understand we're going to have fun, but it certainly is all about the money, honey. And we understand what that means, and I want you to understand what it means. Let's don't go through that whole thing about money won't bring you happiness, but it'll sure help you pay the bills and put your kids through college.
Well, I think there are a lot of people in the accumulation phase that are so focused on making more. Mm-hmm. But what good does that do if you don't know how to keep it, preserve it, and then save it for the future?
The financial diva has lots, we call them diva-isms, okay? And one of them is consistency will always outperform occasional brilliance. Well, another one is it's not about what you earn, but what you keep. And you're exactly right, Sarah. Mm-hmm. Lots of people earn a lot of income. And that's good. It's a good foundation to have. That's how you build wealth. But there are also a lot of people, there are a lot of books out there that you can read that talk all about millionaires. There are approximately 10 million millionaires right now in the United States. The vast majority of them did not inherit their wealth from mom and dad. They did not win the lottery. They did it the old-fashioned way. They worked hard, they saved, they invested, and they accumulated this over a period of years. And that's the way to really build wealth, unless you are going to win the lottery,
Well, and it really does, it takes discipline, too, and it takes knowledge. I know because I came from very humble beginnings, I always say, well, we didn't have lunch money. I babysat when I was 12 years old, 6 kids for lunch money. And, if you don't have that foundation at home, and you didn't grow up with it, then you've got to find it somewhere. And I got a job promotion to Kansas City one year, and I have 7 brothers and sisters, and it was very traumatic for me to leave all my friends and family and take this job. But it was an opportunity because I was going to double my income. And that was huge. So I said, well, I've got to do this. I've got to take this opportunity. And when I did, I had no friends, no family there. And I decided to take some accounting classes. That's the whole foundation. I created 3 companies, and they've all been successful. And they go, no, that doesn't work. The odds are not, that's not going to work. And I go back to taking those accounting classes, and I was really good at it. I loved the accounting one so much, I went back and got accounting 2. so you know where your money is. And then I took, in one of the classes, you had an optional about budgeting. We didn't budget. We didn't have lunch money. You don't budget when you don't have lunch money. You certainly don't invest. So I said, well, okay, yeah, I want to do this. And this is so long ago, and it got me to where I know where dollars are, by instinct now. On a very, very successful large company, we know where the money is because we took those classes. And helping other people learn. And just like when I got recruited into the business, it was, I've earned a lot of money. Well, Sarah, what do we do when we earn a lot of money and we don't know how to invest or where to save or what to do? We spend it. We have great clothes. We have great jewelry. We have great cars. We have great apartments. And we take all of our friends out. So and that's what people do. So we've got to educate people. And that's why in my book, you'll see where I helped advocate for financial literacy in the state of Oklahoma. I'm very proud to get that Senate bill passed.
Financial literacy, that's a great term because this is something we've talked about, but it's really not part of our formalized education. And it needs to be. Our kids learn to read and write and they learn math, but that math is limited to, even my daughter is taking a math class, and the teacher literally told her, what you're learning now, you will never use. And so she shut her mind off. If he said to her, what you're learning now, you will use all day, every day for the rest of your life, don't you think she would?
Yes.
So let's relate it all back. So let's talk a bit about this book, because we haven't even got to talk about it. You are the financial diva, and I love this. Tell me a little bit about what this book tells us. Where are we headed with this?
The reason I actually wrote the book, too, was to help educate people. The reason Damon and I do the radio show is to help educate people. We want to share, because as Damon has said many times, we cannot be the financial advisors for everyone, except on the air, on the radio airways. We can help more people. Well, the book was to help more people. That was my first step, is really to help. And it was encouraged by my clients and by some gentlemen that I had that have this huge $72 billion company, but they kept saying, Victoria, you need to write a book. And I'm like, there's plenty of books out there. So I go looking at some of these books, and they were as boring as I went, I'm not going to read it, and I love this stuff.
Yeah.
So I decided to create a book that was really simple to understand and about the things that you need to know. And there's a chapter on real estate called The Perfect Bullseye, the mistakes people make buying and selling real estate. There are steps for you so that when you are getting ready to, I'm going to interview you, Sarah, and what questions do you ask? Now, you can go out and Google questions all day long, but when you have the questions, if you don't know what the answers are, so I'm the teacher that you love that gives you the answers. If they say this is the correct answer. If not, shake their hand, smile, and say, thank you very much, I'm done. So it gives you, it's a guideline, and it talks about the 6 steps that everybody should go through. Because people will go through up to a point of, and Damon uses this example all the time, that we do so many things that others don't do, like analyze your 401k. That should be part of a financial advisor's advice to you. You're paying for that. So we talk about the 6 steps that you have to have, and I think the most important is really like the first step. What's most important to you? And is it growth or protection? And then once you realize that, now we can start a plan here. And then you weed out all this stuff. A lady did an interview once, and she talked about, she related fashion to how I created this financial business.
I want to hear this story, and I know I'm going to love this story because I love fashion. But we have to get to break really quickly, and we'll be back. When we get back, we will talk more about the 6 steps. 888-838-3482. I have to give you the phone number because if you call today, they're going to give you a complimentary Gold Bucket Optimizer, which we're going to talk more about after the break.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just a downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Hello and welcome back to It's All About the Money, Honey. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Victoria Woods and Damon King, and we're talking about the need to educate everyone from a young age on the importance of how to handle your money so that you have it for long term, protecting it, saving it, and growing it.
Yes. Well, and that's why in my book in 2007, we got the financial literacy. I advocated for 2 years to help get that put in our schools. And it was so funny, there was the biggest debate was over, what year to start. What do you mean, what year to start? You want to start in the 12th grade? I said, okay, no, that's way too late. So I have a whole chapter in there about starting when the opportunity actually presents itself. And it's about a 5-year-old. And you're like, oh, no, here we go, because they presented the opportunity. Now you've got to teach them how to earn the money, what they have to do, how they get it, how they pay their taxes. I mean, the whole thing. We got to take out 10% to give. So it's a real foundation of ChappelWood, and Damon has really done an outstanding job in our education, our flagship education, Rock Your Retirement. So Damon, can you share with Sarah about how successful this has been and how many people have gone through this class?
Well, yeah, and it really began in 2016. I've already shared my story, how I got into this business. I'd made some mistakes, but educated myself and teaching other people how to use the system we have. Look, I tell people all the time, you know what you and Warren Buffett have in common? You have the same tax code to use. You have the same stock market to use. We have the same system to use. He just knows how to use it better. You need to educate yourself how to use it better. And our job is to help educate people to use it better, whether it's the tax code, how the stock market works, the various other pieces of retirement. So in 2016, I remember it very vividly. I taught my first class at a local library. I think I had 3 people in my class. Started very simply.
It only takes one, though.
That's right.
It
well,
does.
and interestingly enough, out of the 3 people in that class, 2 of the ladies that were in there became my clients.
Yeah.
And so, and to this day, they comment how they really enjoy the fact that we truly do love to teach. It begins with teaching. It's just a natural progression. I call it nudging the inevitable, that they end up becoming a part of the ChappelWood family. And so over the years, hundreds of people have come through our classes. That naturally grew into, we need to formalize this. So we created ChappelWood University. And through ChappelWood University, we educate. We've got our webinars that we do every week, 30 minutes on a Wednesday. A live webinar, you can ask me any question you want. But truly, the flagship program of ChappelWood University is a 2-night, 4-hour course that we call Rock Your Retirement. And in that class, we teach you things like how not to run out of money in retirement. We teach you how to disinherit Uncle Sam. I share 5 strategies, 5 strategies for lowering your tax bill. I even share what I call the holy grail of income planning, that if you can structure this and your Social Security right, you could pay virtually 0 taxes in retirement. But that takes planning, and it takes time, and you have to know how it works. And that's why we cover it. It's just $49 to come through my class. $49 is all we charge. This is not come and have a gourmet steak dinner and we'll feed you. This is a real class, and in that class we provide our workbook to you. Okay, we provide our workbook that you get, and it covers everything that we talk about in the class. And then, of course, at the end of the course, we give you an opportunity. If you have heard something in there and you think, I came into this class thinking I'm going to learn a lot about retirement planning. What I've learned is I need your help. That's what I really learned.
Which I'm sure is what most people are thinking when they're listening, because I would think the majority of people in the audience are sitting there thinking, I have worked with an advisor and he is only talked to me about the stock market and investing, and he hasn't talked to me at all about taxes and saving for retirement and all these things. And I think that's the position a lot of people are in.
Well, it is. It is very true, and that's when they come through the class. And I love to see the evaluations afterwards. Oh, when y'all write them to me, I just love reading them, because most of the people will say that very thing that Damon just said. You know, what I really learned between that I need to have income planning, how Social Security works, why Medicare is the way it is, what do I need to do for legacy planning? The most important thing is I don't need to do this myself. I now understand why I need you and why it's so important. And again, I go back to it's 30 years. It's 30 years of voluntary unemployment at minimum now. We are living longer. And if you want to live healthy, you have to have wealth in order to do it, to have the lifestyle you want. Like our clients love, they'll call up and say, Victoria, I need $50,000. I'm taking the family on a cruise. I'm taking the family to Disneyland. I'm going to take the whole family to Africa. I mean, our clients love to travel. But you have to have money in order to do it. All of our clients are wonderfully charitable. We are, and they know that. When they work with ChappelWood Financial, they make sure that because they're clients, and we have so many and they never leave us, that we are profitable. And that's important, too, that they know we give back to the community. We just had a big Derby Day and raised $11,000 for Allied Arts. Well, that's important to our clients because they do the same thing. They give back. So they're happy to know, well, if Victoria's giving it back, part of that's mine. It's a family thing. We are all giving back to Impact Oklahoma. Damon's favorite is the food bank. Allied Arts. We give to many, many charitable organizations. And you can only do that if you earn money, you invest it, you protect it, you have it, you know how to save it and how to give it back. And it's critical.
Well, and you were talking before about starting with the children at 5 years old, and that's also a good time to teach them about being charitable and giving back. But in order to do so, they have to have money. It's easy for your kids to say, "Oh, Mommy, that guy over there, he needs $1," and I'm like, well, "Do you have one?" And no.
Yes,
I'm like,
there you go.
Well, let's figure that out.
Well, and it's funny because in the book I talk about my 5-year-old niece Skylar, and that's exactly what happened. All of our nieces visit us in Oklahoma every single summer, and here she was, little 5-year-old, in her little blue jean shorts, all tan and blue eyes, little page boy, blonde haircut, and she sees this Angelina doll, and she looks at me, blink, 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 and says, "I have to have her." And I went, "Oh, darn, I could buy her 1,000 Angelina dolls, but no, you teach this, you believe this, it's your responsibility." So I say, "Well, honey," I said, "do you have some money? Where's your money?" And she hits her pockets and going, "Well, I don't, but you do." And I go, "But I don't want the Angelina doll, but I will show you how to earn it." So there goes 4 days of our fun teaching her how, and she has to figure out what it is she's going to do. She says, "Your dog needs what?" She said, "I'm not doing nothing in the house." And I said, don't tell me you're going to make the bed, because that doesn't count. Don't tell me it's going to be brush your teeth. You do that automatically. Then she says, "Well, your flowers need watering." Yep. Winston needs a bath. Yes, he does. And the thing is that we struggle with as adults. Doesn't matter if the dog still has soap in it. Doesn't matter if the flowers drowned. They did a job, and you pay them for it right away. And once they do that and they get the money, then you really do have to sit down with them. It's really important that they see it. I always give them dollars because it looks a lot more to them. But they see it, and then you explain to them, "Well, we're going to give some to who? Who would you like to give this to?" "What? It's my money." And then you say, "Okay, now there's taxes."
Yes. That's my favorite part.
What?
Stop taking my money.
It said no. Angelina was only $12.94. But it's an education, and when you start
really
learning,
is never too early.
Never.
And I'm just so shocked by the next generation and how little they know. So I'd love for you, because we do have a short break to get to, but I'd love for you to let people know what the Gold Bucket Optimizer is and what we're offering.
Well, Damon loves to talk about the Gold Optimizer.
I absolutely do. So what we offer in the Gold Bucket Optimizer is simply this. We want to take a look to see, where is your gold? All of the money that you've saved, your savings in the bank, do you have any money that is protected completely from loss? What do you have in the stock market? What do you have other assets that are generating income for you, like mineral royalties? Many of you here in Oklahoma, we know you've got oil wells that you own. You might get money from cell phone towers. You might own a business. We want to see where all of that is. Until you know how your money is balanced across your cash, protected, and money at risk in the market, it's really difficult to answer the question, am I going to run out of money? That's what we do as part of the Gold Bucket Optimizer. And it starts with a simple phone call, 888-838-3482. You're going to be talking to Shelly Myatt, our Director of Client Services. She'll ask you a few questions. Then we'll schedule an appointment for you. When you come in, the first appointment, we're going to talk about everything that you want to talk about, and we ask you some of the most important questions. What do you want your money to do for you? How much of your money do you want protected from loss in the stock market because you're tired of that roller coaster?
I love it. Well, give us a call, and we're going to give you all those things and more for complimentary. It's unbelievable to me. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the 6 steps that are in your book, and there's just so much more to cover.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go? And who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Hello and welcome back to It's All About the Money, Honey. I'm Sarah Peterson here with Victoria Woods and Damon King. And I would love to just touch a little bit more about your Rock Your Retirement program, because I think this is so unique. Mm-hmm. People really respond to this.
Yes, they do. And, you know, the whole concept behind it is we wanted to teach it just like a college course. You know, if you were going into college and to take a personal finance course, what would be in it? What are some of the questions that you would have? And Sarah, without fail, the 2 biggest areas, the biggest questions we get are, how do I not run out of money, and how do I pay less in taxes? Mm-hmm. We cover those 2 things in our class. In fact, it's a 2-night course, and it's 2 hours each night, so a total of 4 hours. Interestingly enough, one of the biggest comments after people come through the class is we say, what did you like best? Or how would you change this course? How would you improve it? Oh. And they constantly say, add 2 more hours to it. And I'm thinking, really? You want more of me? Isn't 4 hours enough? But people really respond to this. So out of the gate, we talk about income planning. The number 1 risk that anybody will ever face in retirement is running out of money. So it stands to reason that we focus on how do we put a plan together so that you minimize, we can't ever make anything guaranteed, but how do you minimize the chance that you're going to run out of money? I tell my students all the time, retirement is not about asset management much anymore. It's about cash flow management and the risk that you're going to run out of that cash flow. Income is what you need. Then we transition into, okay, we've got an income plan. We know how much money we want to live on in retirement every month. Now, how do we build an investment portfolio, not just investments in the stock market, but how much cash, how much protected money, how much in the stock market? It goes back to our gold bucket optimizer. How much gold do you have in each bucket? What kinds of assets should you be owning in that investment portfolio? For growth, income, protection. What about tax efficiency? You know, we have to try to make sure that we're managing the flow of money to you in the most tax efficient manner. Then we get into healthcare planning. We talk all about Medicare. What does Medicare cover? What does it not? We talk a lot about taxes, disinheriting Uncle Sam, 5 strategies for lowering your taxes. And then finally, the course closes out with estate planning. Then one question we get is, I don't really know what the difference between a will and a trust is, and how do I know which one is best for me? And I break it down. My job in this class is not to say, you need to do this, you have to do that. My job is to give you options, and let's try to figure out which option is best for you based on what you're trying to accomplish.
I'm amazed that with your conversation about estate planning, how many people don't know who their beneficiary is, they've never filled out the beneficiary paperwork, and they don't realize that that is the most important thing. And I've heard just so many horror stories. So it's such an important conversation. And not something that I'm sure is exciting for a lot of people. They'd rather plan that trip around the world that you were talking about than talk about it.
But all you have to do is look at some of the recent cases of celebrities that have passed away. Sadly, Prince, just a few years ago, passed away. Prince did not have an estate plan, at least not one that he created. In fact, people say, well, I don't have an estate plan. I'm like, oh, yes, you do. You just don't have an estate plan that you've created. But you have one that the state has created for you, and they're more than happy to take your hard-earned money and use it, decide what you should do.
And someone like Prince, I mean, it wasn't a financial reason. I mean, it's a couple $1,000s, and it could have been done.
It's just the time.
But he was such a meticulous guy. That's why it was so shocking to the world that he didn't have one, because he was so meticulous about everything else, and he didn't. And then what happens is everybody fights over it. And what we do, Sarah, in our office as well, is that every January we have a review. So we have a process. It's just like a revolving door that once we get your plan in place and we start monitoring it, but every year we look at those beneficiaries. Things happen. People get divorced. They have grandchildren. They forget to put them on. If your beneficiaries aren't kept up to date, it could be a real problem, if something were to happen to you. And people don't take the time unless they're in an environment where they know, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Victorious, I know we're going to do that in January. We're going to do that in February, because it's on our calendar to review any changes that
life changes, and we've got to make sure we keep up with those things.
So plan an hour. Keep it up.
Listen, I got more time than that. I want to take this course because there's just so much to learn, and we all
it's virtual.
need it.
You can take it, Sarah. It's virtual.
I love it. We all need this education. It's just so important, starting from young to old, and just so grateful that you all have so much passion for it and share it with your clients. And it is all about the money, honey, at the end of the day.
It's all about the money, honey.
Well, we never can get to all the topics, can we?
No.
The next show, I promise we're going to get to it all, but it's been so wonderful being here with you. Give them a call, 1-888-838-3482 to get that Gold Bucket Optimizer. And that, to me, is priceless, and you're giving it complimentary.
Yes. If you say that you saw it on our show with Sarah.
Just say you came and saw it with us, and then that's all you need. So it's pretty simple. We're simplifying everything today.
Yes, we are.
It's wonderful being here with you, and I can't wait to the next show.
Thanks, Sarah.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been great.